Hi, welcome to episode 4 of Energetic Realignment of Hormonal Imbalances. Today we will be joining once again with Poornima Vamsi, and welcome. I'm your host, Abby, and looking forward to a great show with you. So, without further ado, we're going to introduce Poornima Vamsi to you once again. So, hold tight. Hi, welcome back to our fourth episode. An exciting topic today. How are you doing?
Doing wonderful, Abhi. Thank you so much for asking. And I hope the same is with you right back in Melbourne. How's it going with you?
So much more freedom, definitely for sure. So we're lapping it all up, but the weather has been quite disturbing with all the weather, wet weather and rain and whatnot.
Ah, I think,
Yes,
yes, Melburnians are kind of used to different weather almost all through the year. But yeah, now with the
definitely.
freedom, I'm sure most of us want to go out and enjoy.
We
So
just want
fingers
good
crossed.
weather.
Yeah.
Definitely. So yeah, I'm really excited about this the topic we have on today because we keep talking about hormonal imbalance. We talk about how it affects us, but we really don't have a good grasp of what are hormones. Like what is it? So I really want to talk about this because this is something I would like to know. So can you tell me a little bit about what are hormones?
Absolutely, Abhi. So you rightly pointed, we have been speaking about what hormonal imbalances, how they impact us, and what we should be doing, how we get diagnosed with different ailments. But for the benefit of our viewers, I know this was way back in our last month, we had thought, let's talk hormones, what exactly they are. And there was a
Exactly.
brilliant idea that was suggested by you, which I'm actually thankful and grateful for. Because it would benefit the viewers who might actually even wonder what does she mean when she say hormones. So that said, hormones are nothing but chemical fertilizers that run in our bloodstream. And when I say our bloodstream, it's from our head to our toes. So it's not located only in one particular point. Say my hands have hormones, my legs don't, my hips have hormones, my tummy doesn't, nothing of that sort. But they run through our bloodstreams, and those are, in a simple layman language, they are chemical fertilizers which run through our bloodstream. So these are called the hormones.
Yeah, so I realized that females are more affected by hormones than males. Why is that?
That's again a brilliant question. Now, there are several factors that contribute to why women are impacted more with hormonal health issues than male. And one of the major reasons being when a girl child is conceived by her mother, from then there are lots of hormones that gets generated in her body versus when compared to a male child. And this is because of the reproductive way, the reproductive system that we are gifted with. So now, when we are blessed with a reproductive system, from the time when a mom conceives her girl child, through various facets of life, from when she is born to becoming, achieving puberty, and then into youth, getting married, bearing a child, uh, middle age, then menopause. There are so many things that are happening in a woman's physical body that it is but obvious that those imbalances happen. And this would be one of the major reasons. Like, there are hormonal imbalances in men too. It is probably not as much spoken as it is spoken in women's health. But all said and done, with women also bearing a child and then giving birth to a child and wearing so many hats and taking so much of stress in her life, she is more prone to hormonal imbalances or hormonal health issues versus her male counterpart.
Okay, so what are some of the hormones that like them? I know there's I read up on it a little bit. There's like 20 odd different hormones in our body. What are some of the key ones that affect our day-to-day life?
Definitely. So I'm going to keep it again high level. Like you said, there are 20 plus one. So we do not want to get into the details of what each of those do.
That's right.
But yeah, on our day-to-day life or in our day-to-day life, what are the ones that we should be concerned about is definitely the first major one, which is the cortisol, which are the stress hormones. So the more the thoughts in our mind, the more our body releases those cortisol hormones. Our brain triggers to release more of cortisol hormones. And that is one of the major ones for any physical ailments in our body. So the moment cortisol hormones are triggered, they kind of go and supersede all other hormones that are present in our body. For example, the estrogen, the progesterone, the testosterone, which are again important hormones in a woman's body. These hormones have an imbalance when the cortisol hormones comes and takes over. And then we have our dopamine hormones, the happy hormones, the oxytocin, the love hormones. So that way, there are several hormones which get triggered depending on how our mood is. But with the thoughts that we have, with the current ongoing pandemic, with our day-to-day life, with the stress that we take, cortisol is the first one that we need to learn how to tackle, how to work around it.
So what you're saying is this cortisol hormone will affect our moods, how we function emotionally?
So the cortisol hormones are stress hormones, which majorly are triggered when we are affected by stress. Whatever that stress might be, it cannot be just one particular thing. Anything that we kind of tense our body, where our mind is tensed, our body is tensed, then the brain triggers to release more of cortisol hormones. And when those go and hit the other hormones in the body, there are different ailments that gets triggered. Now, it can be thyroid for somebody. It can go and hit your endocrinal system, your thyroid. It can go and hit your uterus, PCOD, and then your sugar levels, diabetes, several things that can happen. And coming back to, if we learn how to work with those cortisol hormones, I think most of us would be hale and healthy.
Wonderful. So the reproductive system in a woman's body is a very important factor. So what are the actual hormones that affect that?
So when we say, the estrogen and progesterone, if they are balanced, we would be able to, when we achieve our puberty, when we want to conceive, all of these happen naturally. But when again the testosterone levels, which is actually the male dominated, we will have it. But when they become quite high in number, we would see symptoms of male features or male characteristics, getting a thick mustache, getting hair under your chin, getting hair in your chest. So when this happens, so if it is particularly with respect to the reproductive system, we will have to ensure that the estrogen and the progesterone hormones are taken care. And the question might also come, how do we know? How can we balance it? Now, we don't really have to go and measure our hormones. We don't have to see what's my estrogen level, what's my progesterone level. That probably once in your annual checkup, if your GP insists, you can get it checked. But otherwise, when you get diagnosed with several ailments, it is but natural that there is an imbalance in your body. And even if you don't get diagnosed with any ailments like thyroid, PCOD, diabetes, diabetes or anything for that matter, but still see your weighing scale stuck at a certain stage, and no matter what you do, it doesn't budge, then there is an imbalance that needs to be worked upon. So I
Yeah.
hope that answered your question, Abhi.
Yeah, so that's something that I wanted to ask. So how do the hormones actually support or balance each other out? So that's something I'm really curious about.
Absolutely. So again, it goes back to the point, it's about learning to live in harmony with our mind, body, and soul connection. So when you establish that, see, life is not about just do I eat five greens in a day, five something in a day, and then will I be all right? Or it's not about do I go to gym every day and then I'll be all good? Or it's not a combination of both of these two. I'm eating absolutely healthy, I'm working out in gym, but still there is something that's not that is not in alignment with how my health should be. And that goes back to how your thoughts, from where we started the topic, how your thoughts impact your entire physical body. Now, when it's like I said, it's about maintaining that harmony through various practices, whatever practices that can be for an individual. We hear so many things, in internet. It's about starting your day with a very minimalistic routine of understanding who you are, just asking yourself what you want to do on that particular day. Now, this might sound very unusual because we are used to getting up in the morning, rushing. If we have kids, waking up the kids, sending them to school, or we rushing to work. But how about taking that 5 to 7 minutes in that morning and bringing that harmony within yourself? Ask yourself, how do you want your day to go rather than allowing your day to drive you? So when these small practices are inculcated in our day-to-day life, we don't really have to measure or ask, how do I ensure my estrogen and progesterone are balanced while my cortisol doesn't impact them? It would naturally happen. It would naturally happen, and then we don't really have to go and get ourselves checked if there is no need. Like there are women who are diagnosed with several ailments and they do need it, but otherwise in your day-to-day life, if women have questions about what can I do with respect to this thing, what can I do with respect to that, my sincere suggestion and advice would be to bring yourself into a harmonious environment, to bring yourself in harmony with your own mind, body, and soul connection.
Yeah. So one of our viewers, Kavita, has actually said, great topic, and I agree with her, and that's why I really wanted to cover this topic because as much as yeah, we would like to know what how hormone affect us day to day, we also need to know what is hormones, like what is it that in our body. So I wanted to ask, I know we covered a little bit about it. So one hormone can negatively impact another or more than one. So how does this happen? Like, what are the symptoms or what are the things that we can look out for that shows us, indicates to us that our hormones are not quite balanced and affecting each other?
Sure. So it starts off with, and if I have to talk about the symptoms when a person feels that, there is something not really right. One, we women are intuitively very strong. We are blessed in that way. So we know our body. It's a different thing that we kind of neglect most of the times, saying that's all right. I think today is not just the day, tomorrow might be, and then the tomorrow never comes. But again, feeling of lethargicness, continuous lethargicness, feeling of irritability, the mood swings. If it is before your menstruation cycle and after, probably it's okay because there is again a hormonal change over there. But if it's existing all through the month, yeah, the irritability, the mood swings, the tiredness, all of these are symptoms that a woman can gauge by herself, versus when we get our blood run throughs done and are diagnosed with a thyroid, PCOD, PCOS, diabetes, cancer for that matter. These are all nothing but a result of hormonal imbalances in the body. So, in a simple way to understand, again, goes back to the earlier point that I said. When you wake up in that morning, taking that exactly 5 minutes out, not more than that, exactly that 5 minutes out, and understanding yourself. There are women who wake up with pains in the body. It is obvious that after a full night of sleep, you are waking up with pains in your body. There is something that's wrong with your health. You need to give it that attention. So there are women who wake up with swelling in their face. So then there is water retention. So you have to seek help to understand what's bothering. So that way, when we get more awareness of how our physical and psychological body is responding to various circumstances, to various things in our life, trust me, we are capable enough to know if we are healthy or if there is something wrong within us. But these are all generic symptoms: lethargic, tiredness, irritability, mood swings, not having your menstrual cycle on time. They're all very simple symptoms that you should be able to identify that, yes, I have to take care of myself and my body.
So basically, just on a day-to-day basis, just take a moment to listen to your body.
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely, Abhi.
Other than that, what other, what can we do to aid these hormones for, kind of a positive outlook in our body day to day?
Sure. So it again, in the last couple of years that I have noticed, at least with the women that I have been interacting, I have noticed that by because of the circumstances that we are all put into, women have gone into a state of, all right, this is how life is going to be. It can be because of COVID. It can be COVID is majorly the contributing factor. So we have taken it for granted that, all right, looks like there is the COVID is going to it's going to continue on and on and on. We are going to be in lockdown. So in lockdown, all that we can do is either binge watch Netflix or binge eat, or if not anything, just probably do those things which are not again in harmony with yourself. Versus, I have coached women on how we can make the best of these times. I'll give you my own example. So it, like, unlike others, it was easy for me also to say, okay, there's everything that's happening around the world, let me do only what I can do. Versus I invested in educating myself in the field of energetics. I started studying, I started practicing, I have to write lots, I have to finish lots of workbooks, worksheets to be able to certify myself. So it's about channelizing yourself in the direction where your heart wants to go. Each one of us would have a hobby, isn't it, Abhi? You would have a hobby by yourself. So that way, each one of us want to do something or other in our life than what we are doing today.
Yeah.
So it
We
might
have a
not be
viewer who has a question. Actually, I know
sure.
this viewer. She wants to know, um, does hormone actually affect hair loss?
Of course, it definitely does. I'll come back to this. Let me finish the earlier one and then I'll come back to this. So that way, it's about channelizing our energy in the right direction. Somebody loves painting, take some time out, say 15, 20 minutes out in a day. Now, I would not believe if somebody says, no, Poornima, I don't have 15 minutes in a day for myself. That's absolutely not possible. We might want to evaluate of what we are doing through the day, that we cannot take a 15 minutes or a 30 minutes in a day for ourselves. So pick up a lost hobby. See what is it that you can do for yourself. So if it is a painting for somebody, it can be just about, spending time in the nature, and that nature need not be going outside. It can be sitting in your backyard, observing things. Become an observer. Always we have learned to, talk, share, and explore things, versus learning to stay a little calm, quiet, and be an observer from within. So when we do these things in our day-to-day life, we would learn to bring, again, it goes back to the keyword harmony over here. We would learn to inculcate that peace within us. And when that exists, hormonal imbalances will not happen. Will not happen. I'm a living example of what I'm speaking, Abhi. I'm not saying from the textbooks, I'm a living example of it.
Well, I can say I'm similar. I mean, not so much with hobbies, and that 5 minutes in the morning does not happen because I just jump out of bed and get going. But I do that 5 minutes before bed when I go to bed, taking that time how I'm going to function the next day. So we all do things differently. It's all about actually taking that time for yourself somewhere
Yep.
throughout the day and just, managing your time. So about that hair loss. We know a lot of us women actually do suffer from that. I mean, as much as we have excess hair growth when the testosterone levels are up, what causes the hair loss?
So there are various factors again. When I say there are various factors, they're all related to hormonal health, definitely. So it's not about, I'm using shampoo A and hence my hair is falling. Let's switch to shampoo B. Or again, it's not about I'm not eating just enough proteins. Let me have high protein food and probably that will allow. No, it's again multiple things that come into effect. Now, with hormonal health, if a person is diagnosed with thyroid, one of the side effect is hair shedding. So that way, if a person is diagnosed with even PCOD, PCOS, hair shedding happens. Now, if there is none of these, but still a person is seeing hair shedding, then the thoughts, which we store over here, how much of importance we give to that. There are 60,000 thoughts is what science says that we have in our day-to-day life every day. So with all those thoughts sitting over here, we ensure that the follicles close by itself. Now, how much ever you do the external things of nourishing your hair, eating the right food, if your thoughts are not aligned, if your thoughts are not centralized to the path or channelized to the way which leads to your ultimate holistic well-being, these hair follicles are forced to close. And when that happens, the normal hair shedding, which is between 50 to 100 hair per day, probably multiplies by itself. And we see hair thinning and hair doesn't regrow too. So it's again about not just taking care of one particular thing. I am seeing extreme hair loss. What can I do? So do I have to eat right food? Do I have to take extra protein? Do I have to nourish my hair, use the right shampoo? No. Start off with how you are in your day-to-day life. What are the thoughts that are running in your mind? How you are responding to stress? Are you responding or are you reacting? All of that contributes to hormonal imbalance and your hair loss.
Just like everything else, I guess.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. So we have given so much of importance to external things, Abhi, that we fail to realize that there is a lot within us which, when rectified, allows us to see those results naturally.
Definitely. I found it took me a long time to learn that how I react internally to stress levels externally is is better for my health and well-being overall.
Yep.
So thank you for joining us once again. It was definitely a great topic that I was personally interested in. So I'm glad that we were able to broadcast that to the viewers as well. I'm looking forward to seeing you for episode 5. Hopefully, you'll be in Australia by then.
Absolutely. November 24th. I think the next week, this time, I'll be in Melbourne. So
Fabulous.
looking forward to come back and we will do the next one from Melbourne, Abhi. Thank you so much once again to you and
Thank
Icon Media.
you. So we are back for episode 5 on 15th of December, just before Christmas, and we can have a bit of a break and then come back again over the new year. So I'm looking forward to having you here from Melbourne again, and have a great day. And thank you, viewers, for attending our show, and hope you enjoyed it and hope you learned something from it today.
Beautiful. Thank
Thank you,
you.
Poornima.